And every day I thank you, Lord, for a feeling that's so new, so inviting, so exciting. Whenever you're near, I
Hear a symphony.
tender melody, pulling me closer, closer to your arms. Then suddenly, your lips are touching mine. A feeling
I
so
just love like
till I leave the past behind. I'm lost in the world.
we're not old enough. Just go back. Just really just take us all the way back.
Listen, we don't do enough Motown. I'm sorry, we just don't. So had to be
Okay.
done. Had to be done. And I had a thought this morning
Can you say
already. No, your nose hairs are good.
okay, good.
Um, I had a thought this morning because I was listening to some music while I was working out, and you know, um, Diana Ross has had a pretty long career. Like I know that sounds silly, but we talk about like Madonna or Cher and these, like Diana Ross has done all right.
And it was like the first Beyonce, like multiple things, going to places, acting, doing like those little shows and whatever. And when are we gonna, I kind of miss those variety shows. Remember those?
Do I love those shows? I
love those.
I mean, and the sketch shows, the variety shows, like growing up, Donnie Marie, Sonny and Cher, like 100% watched all of those, and Carol Burnett, watch that all the time. My kids
Love
watch
Carol
that.
Burnett.
It's funny. It's still funny.
And so it's like I Love Lucy because I still watch I Love Lucy.
My 100%.
So fun. It does. It like transcends. Still funny.
Absolutely correct. Totally does. And
My like executive producer gets really. He hates it when I do it. Sometimes I'll hear it and I'll be like, when we go places and they'll say, "Do I know you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm the one with the kind face," because of the skit when it was like Martha, because he knows I'm gonna do it and I can't stop. He'll be like trying to talk to me about laundry and I'll be like, slowly I turn, step
by step,
inch by
inch,
and then I let him have it. And he never does the part, all because of, ooh.
It's the thread. Like you can't. It's your brain has to let that happen. You got to say the whole thing.
I mean, and it's funny because you have children, because then they start doing the same thing, and then it becomes like a.
It is. I mean, my oldest daughter has texted me and said, "Oh, I miss you, Dad." She's up in Boston. "I miss you, Dad. Really wish I were sitting on the couch watching Love Boat with you." I'm like, see.
Aww.
I have. I mean, and when you think about Love Boat as an example, you actually have to think for a second. Most of those episodes were 3-day cruises.
Yes.
And people met each other.
So fast. And they had and their staterooms were like right by everything because literally, how did you make it all the way to the magic show and back to the bar and to the promenade deck?
Well, entertainment tonight is in the Acapulco Lounge.
Yeah, that would never happen.
Everything's in the Acapulco Lounge. But you're absolutely right. The Acapulco Lounge apparently was 3 football fields huge because every room was right next to it.
That's right. And the bar was the same size as like a dressing room.
And let's have a moment about let's talk about Isaac, because this man was absolutely overused, should have had a Department of Labor complaint 1,000%. My man was working every bar in the Pirates Club, Pirates Lounge Club, Acapulco Lounge, the bar at the pool. The man was at every. You mean we can't hire any other bartenders? This poor man.
The doctor was never in his freaking office.
Never. And when he was knocking boots. And that's the problem.
I always would be like, oh, nice. Isaac's knocking the boots. We knew when there was a black person on the show that Isaac was going to.
That was when you watch the opening credits and Lola Falana is a guest. You know. You, Lola Falana or Thelma Hopkins, that's his love
But
interest
you
for
were
the
always
show.
sad because you knew it wasn't going to last because it have another it have another place to go. He does not do long
I
term.
want everyone listening to Google Lola Falana
Can we
and
change?
educate yourself.
Can we change the topic, Jamie? Change the topic.
Educate yourself because that woman is underappreciated. She had a wonderful career, and then we all forgot about her by
Oh, sorry.
1983.
Our producer is letting us know the topic.
Listen, the topic is listen, Jamie, listen and learn.
Listen.
1983, we forgot all about Lola Falana and haven't gone back.
Getting good credit.
And I'm mad about it.
And we need to talk about it. Also, I have to say, my oldest, first of all, Frankie, people don't know the after show. Maybe we should start recording. The after show, Frankie validating my whole existence. It made my whole
We
day.
need to not speak to one another because it is just difficult for me. He was, he's like, I'm so glad I got to talk to Jackye. I'm like, I'm sure you are, buddy.
I am too. Because honestly, I need to take them from you. Because I feel like, when parents, maybe they're not doing the right thing, but I need to help, I need to help take them away from you.
Yes.
Is he living with you, Frankie?
He is. Is my microphone better now? Much better,
Yes.
huh? Much better. Yes, I wasn't on. Thank you. Our producer is awesome. I don't know why I wasn't on the main microphone, but everything. And I don't know if Joe is here today. Zoom now has decided, by the way, to every time I get on a Zoom meeting, it adjusts the volume of my microphone to whatever it feels like doing automatically. I don't touch anything. And all
I
of a
need
sudden,
that in real life. I need to walk into a room and they can turn because I'm a little loud. I think I need that in real life.
Yesterday, I got into a meeting and the volume on my computer and everything was fine. Zoom pinned me to the complete top that people were like, you're all coming in loud and all broken up. I'm like, I okay, I don't know. Zoom, come on now.
Get with that. Also, before we jump in, sweet baby TJ is here for the semester, which has been fun and great. And Clay has a whole new career. Clay,
again,
listen, you're not going to believe this. Clay, at Christmas had their DJ equipment.
Yeah.
And their dad has picked up their bass. So they were like, I'll just buy another bass. So they buy another bass. Joined a band, has their first gig. They even have a gig coming up in Dallas as the bassist for a band, DJ, band, bartender, model. And I told them that I'm leaving Textio and that I was like, maybe I should be an entrepreneur. And they're like, Mom, this is everything.
Be a lead singer.
They didn't mean that. By the way, David Noe's here. Please, David, don't watch. Don't watch. I went in to see one of the things from David Noe. He's very handsome.
I could have told you that David's very handsome, but I will also tell you you're not his type.
Oh,
he is happily married.
That's what I was looking for.
I just want to make sure and be clear. And I also want to say, if David were going to do something outside of the confines of marriage, I think I'm more his type than you. I just want to be clear. Yeah.
But that's
David,
not fair.
Come on, buddy. I love David.
I stole like my actual husband.
So there's that. I can't help it. Like a moth to a flame.
It's the muscle. It's like burned by the fire.
You are so funny. I know we're going to talk about connection, but listen, speaking of connection, actually, this is great. I had a call this morning already. I had a call this morning with someone I haven't talked to in a while. And honestly, someone that I met very early in his career. Love him. So he's doing great. So excited for all the, opportunities that have come his way and all. And he says to me, I'm so glad though that, I get to still see what's happening with family online and all that good stuff. And he said, and how many muscles you have grown over the years as well. And I was like,
I actually haven't been posting the gym shots in a while.
I'm very upset by that.
No, because the DMs got really uncomfortable.
Are you serious right now?
100%. 100%.
But you still could send it to us. Like,
I can't. I was like, like the things I'm reading that people are like that. By the way, let me be clear, just so that it's not direct friend connections. That's not who's DMing me.
Strangers
it's
that like.
Oh yeah, yes. And the good news is I'm equal opportunity, so I appreciate that as well. So I'm getting from every kind of person. So it is. I said to him, I'm like, it's so funny you brought that up. I haven't done it. He's like, I know you haven't been doing it. I'm like, I just can't. It's a lot of dirty DMs, a lot of dirty DMs.
Well, then close your Instagram, weirdo.
It's all like, it says so-and-so is trying to send you a message. Do you want to receive it? And I'm like, no. But then once in a while, I'm like, well, do I know this person? And then I look and I see the message and I'm like, well, I know her now.
We're understanding that now we know the real problem. Now we know the real.
I know her now, not in the biblical sense,
but because Andrew in Nigeria, aka Sassy from Florida, because they're all
sassy. Yeah.
Clay, follow Clay. Clay Nation has been cracking me up. So they've been doing the whole point of the thing because on Instagram they've been doing the beats with the bonnet. Which are you dead?
I watched the bonnet.
Were you not absolutely dead? So
I was like, there couldn't be more proof that Clay is your child than these videos.
Every time I'm like, literally,
it couldn't be more proof. But I'm going to tell you, from a connection standpoint, people love it.
People love it.
They are watching. That audience is growing.
If you feel like you need something, you need to follow Clay because they will make your day every single day. Anytime
what's the handle for Clay? I forget.
It's Clay Nation something. But they also
when they had the bonnet on, and I was like, oh no.
So the bonnet, I was like, absolutely not. Yep. And so what they found out, so they've been having beats, and it's when you're making beats online, it's very competitive. People steal them. Like you'll put a clip and they'll take them. So Clay figured this out because they're brilliant, that if they do freestyle on top of their own beats to showcase their own beats, they can't steal the beat because it's them. And people enjoy listening to Clay's freestyle.
I mean,
I was like, did you literally try to rhyme with pistachio?
It's a valiant effort.
I was like, there's lots of syllables. They were like, oh, Mom, I'm so embarrassed. But people love it. And the fact that they
seem to love it
to themselves, they snap themselves at the end. I was like, that is my kid.
That is the statement. Jamie, we are listening. We are building stronger connections.
Okay, that's why we hired Jamie.
Well, this is a great segue, to be fair. And Jamie thinks he knows. He thinks he knows where we're going. He thinks he knows where we're going.
At home, at my own home. Listen.
I thought about playing that song this morning, by the way.
It fits, and
it does fit. But I want to tell you, gosh, you're going to get me off topic. Melanie Amaro, X Factor audition to the song Listen, change your life. Change your life. Look it up. Look it up. Change your life. Okay. So
wait, one last thing.
I do, Sean. Thank you. I do build connections with gym pictures. We have to share that because that is a true statement.
I'm laughing at my own eyebrows.
Your eyebrows are awesome. Thank you. The social media thing, it's an absolute appropriate segue because we have gotten ourselves over the last, I'm going to say 12 years with social media as being the conduit for our connections.
Yes.
That has been the place where people are like, I'm connecting with people all over the world. I love this. I'm really getting to learn about, and I'm not saying it wasn't true, but that's what we were doing.
Right.
here we sit in 2025 with a very tension-filled variety of social media platforms for various reasons. And we
Not
also have, we also have a lack of engagement. Numbers are down in
okay.
terms of people actually even engaging on those platforms. I don't care what your flavor of social media is. And I think the last year, 2024, it was 8% of 20 to 25-year-olds are 100% not on social media.
That's right. That's right.
So how do we build connections when we got used to doing things like social media?
I don't
Right?
know.
Like, I think it's
Don't ask
fascinating.
me. Like, I'm fully connected online. Don't ask me. Because it is really still difficult
Yeah.
to make connections. People have to go the old school way, like, hi, do you want to play? Do you want to be my friend? Yes, no, check one.
You want to build a
Their parents
snowman?
don't know how to teach them. Their parents don't know how to tell them how to do that.
I mean, so my heir to the throne has built Frankie has built most of his relationships. I think about high school, after school, besides sports practice. No, they didn't hang out and do things together. They all ran to their bedrooms and got online and killed other people on whatever various assault show that they have. But that's how he connected with people, by a headset. That's what he did, right? And so bring that into networking, business development, membership driven organizations. You and I both know the Chamber of Commerce memberships are down.
Oh yeah.
SHRM memberships in
Well,
the
at
local
the same
level,
time
like
that entrepreneurship is up. Look at Tony. I love Tony. Hi, Tony.
yes, hey Tony, that is true.
Tony, but poor thing, is in my little besties group who like probably hates us, all the Gen Xers very much. Love
Tony,
young one.
Tony, I'm sure you don't hate Jackye, but if you do, message me. We'll talk.
Stop. Listen. Tony knows, like, it makes sense. You have had it your whole life, and people learning not to put their children online as, because we didn't know. I mean, people didn't know the impact and what was going on.
That's right. That is, and I love, Tony, what you said too, because they had it their whole life. So
they're like, I don't want to be a part of any of that. But they've also missed their parent because their parents weren't engaged because they were on their phone doing TikTok. The kid was all by themselves. Maybe they learned that they want to have,
or they were uncomfortable because of their grandparent. I hope my mom's not watching, but like So Tony, you make a great point though, because besides Frank, I have Olivia and Cassie, 2 daughters, right? 21 and 23 years old. Both of them deleted all social media. Cass had to put Instagram back on because her internship required her to have Instagram for some of the stuff that she had to do. So she had to put it back on her phone in order to do the internship. Olivia has nothing. It's all gone. And so and I didn't look to find, like, the statistic is kind of even trending in my own home. 2 of my kids don't do it.
yeah.
Right. So it's really interesting because their response is, Olivia's like, it wastes so much time. I don't need to see what everybody's thinking every minute of the day. And it's not helpful. So I don't do it. And I'm like, well, will you do a LinkedIn profile? Like for work? She said, that I'll do because of the, professional thing, needing a job. People will look something up, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's just a matter of, and now you look at LinkedIn even, and it's like videos and all kinds of stuff happening there.
So I'll tell you. Last week, someone asked if I would do a post, like, for whatever the organization, and I'm in a position. I was like,
$5,000.
I'm not doing anything that's not going to pay me money outside of it because we are because you what.
Show me the green. Show me the green.
Show me the green. I can't. Why do I do this show? I can't. I want to walk away right now. Things have not been great. I've been very emotional in this.
And this is your lifeline.
Right. Tony, by the way, Tony fully is Issa Rae.
Issa Rae, yes. Yeah.
Totally is Issa Rae. I watch Tony and I'm like, Tony has it all together.
Wendy, good morning. People aren't just checking out online, but in person as well. My local HR group is having an in-person event tonight. First round is paid. First round of drinks are paid. We only have 7 people registered. You know, back in the day, you had every alcoholic HR person.
Yeah, and you would have their mama, their cousin, and they bring everybody and say, "Give me your ticket." Oh wait,
give me yeah, it's right. Oh, you're not drinking? Oh, it's dry January. I'll take your ticket.
You got to bring your friend who doesn't drink on purpose. Be like, can I have your ticket?
I'll take your ticket. Yeah. Ooh, dry January, you can't do it. Right. So this is fascinating
because they have not connected online or in person. So that is terrifying. Look at Mark Fogel. I'm dead.
I love him so much please share that. Thank you. I want to tell you something. Mark he's on to something. Pickleball is crazy.
Listen, at our local Y, because Sweet Baby TJ is home now, and we're both here. And I was like, at the Y, they have a seniors pickleball at 11 o'clock.
But he could probably do that because he is an old soul. They'll never know.
Absolutely. So I was like, let's go. He's like, okay, I'm in. He also is his father's son and won't care. He will be slamming on everybody.
On everybody. Let's go, Gladys. Move your oxygen tank quicker. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, this is what I was trying to say. Thank you for bringing me back. So someone asked me if I would do something, right? So I was like, they asked me, I was like, well, tell me a little bit more about the project. Is it something, because I think at this point, everything's negotiable with stuff on there. They're like, well, we only do it through this particular platform. So if we're going to work together, you have to put something up here. I went in and it was an influencer management system. And you had to sign up. And one of the things was LinkedIn. I was shocked. I'm so dumb. I'm like, oh, is that why people? It isn't, people stop because I'm charming.
It is because you're charming. The thing and I love what I just shared too, brought up is like, from a connection standpoint, how do we develop connection in a meaningful way if your primary purpose for developing the connection is business development or networking for a job? Like, that has been unfortunately too much of a default for people. Like, that's why all of a sudden you see people posting more online or showing up at some events like Wendy was talking about. They do this because I'm in transition, or I'm not meeting my sales goals, and so I've got to get out there and see if I can find people. That doesn't feel like authentic connection, right? You're doing it to try to use.
I just didn't know. I was really funny. So I went to a go to networking type of event webinar. Yep. And they were trying to teach people how to share their personal part of their life on LinkedIn and what's appropriate and what's not. And I was like dying because I was like, oh my God, I have broken all these rules. I had no idea.
You broke all the rules.
Always crossed all of the lines. I did not know. But because we started and didn't know because of those things. And then at this point, it is a one long interview. Social media is one long perpetual interview.
It's so interesting.
Because it's crossed over, people don't recognize. Tony and I were just having the conversation where I'm like, there are some things that are reserved that only certain people know. And then even though it looks like I share everything online, I don't share everything online.
Can you all imagine that, by the way? Let me just make sure I say that.
Right.
In light of everything that Jackye shares, she's not sharing everything online. Heaven help us all.
My life, it's very complex. I always tell people it's just a very interesting form of some type of, it's my version of ADHD requires me to be like, I don't have a filter and I don't know. I don't have, And I've passed that on to my child, Clay, who also with the bonnet.
I mean, the idea of connection has to come back to being human. And I mean that in the sense of there's so much loneliness and depression in our culture right now that I think a huge part of that is the deficit in genuine connection. It's the deficit in that. People don't know how to build rapport, let alone relationship. And we've forgotten. The pandemic absolutely iced a lot of that for people. We've got so many people we know that just don't want to engage with society in the same way they were pre-pandemic. They got used to being home, used to being separated.
Changed where people are. I think it changed
and how they connect
and how to connect. And I believe social media changed because things that were once private for some people, for dare I say, average people.
You're not average. No one's going to feel some sort of way. You're not average.
Yes. So don't do those things. But the thing, what is interesting is that we had different experiences. So what is interesting is that what people were listening to was because of the endorphins, the dopamine of getting the likes, it made people have these various things. So you need to make it a determination of where you are in your own life to figure out what am I trying to do? Why am I here? What am I here for? And I think people have different things that they need, but you have to be able to tie into those things. And I believe there's different social places where you can get some of that. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if other people are having issues. If your Wi-Fi is choppy, so I don't know if people are seeing that because you're really pixelated at moments and stuff. So I just want to make sure if people are noticing that, I see it too. It's okay. Yeah, on occasion. That's right. It's not the whole time. So just so you know. So if I ask you to repeat something, it's because it was chopped off. It's not because I think your point was good. I want to be clear about that. Right. Glasses off. Listen here. I don't know that you or I, however, to exactly your point, I really do think everything you just said is right. I'm going to tell you, if you and I submitted a session at a conference to say this topic, the art of listening, how to build authentic connections, I'm going to tell you something. I don't think we'd be picked to speak at that conference. No way. Even though it's desperately needed, I think people will be like, nah. We all know how to do that. I'm telling you, we've forgotten how to do it. I'm telling you.
Also, I think what's interesting, we talk about this a lot. When people see me and you in public, they're like, oh, y'all are really like that.
Yes.
And they think that this part is it's like, no. We really are friends. That's what people say. Y'all really are friends.
And let's be really clear too. Jackye and I have no energy to pretend. We just can't do it. I mean, we're too tired. Just too tired. I can't do it. And I love this point as well. Communication doesn't mean you have to tell everybody everything. You absolutely are allowed to have some things that are reserved. Great point. Again, this crazy LinkedIn doesn't always tell us who everybody is when it comes on this platform. But
thank you, LinkedIn loser. LinkedIn loser. Sorry, I meant user.
Came out. This is your right to decide how deeply you want to connect with someone. It's not a requirement. I have had to do this in my life and say, I'm not going to go that deep with you. I'll share some stuff, but I'll only go so far, and that's it.
And that's the part that people don't always recognize.
Yep.
Is that this is reserved for a certain time or a moment because it's on 24 hours a day. They have access to you 24 hours a day.
Yes.
I mean, even with my own friends, the past couple of weeks have been really hard personally. And I'm like, I can't answer the phone right now. I can't talk right now. I don't feel like it. And it's not because I don't want to be able to be myself. But you need to have genuine connections. Like I hope that you can do those things and, get out there. It's time to get back out there.
Vulnerability is risky. So I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you this question. How hesitant are you in going deeper with people?
I'm too hesitant to even go into it with you.
Really? I mean,
people don't know that at all, that I literally surface. That's why when I say, people think I'm kidding when I say I have 5 friends. No, I'm like very serious.
Yeah.
I'm very serious.
And I want to tell you, the thing that I appreciate about you when you say that is because I think you're saying the reality for many people, even if most people don't realize that's what they're doing. I think especially as you get older, and I would love to hear from people, right? As we've gotten older, don't you feel like my circle is small? When I was in high school, I was like, hey, everybody, like everybody's my friend. Everybody's my friend. When my dad, I remember him talking to me about Facebook, and he was like, I have 600 friends on Facebook. And I was like, Dad, you do not have 600 friends.
That's right.
Like that's the brilliance and the crime of Facebook, as an example, to call this category of people friends instead of connecting.
Yes.
Right? Because it made you feel like that's who they were. They're not. You can be friendly with someone.
People are like, oh, you shouldn't unfriend somebody. No, bitch. We are not friends. We ain't never been friends. Right? They're like, oh, political beliefs. It's like, I didn't like that motherfucker in high school. I don't know why. Why did I even? And what is my litmus test? When you put happy birthday and I think, I unfriend.
Oh my gosh. That killed me. That was good.
It's the truth.
It is the truth. And I will tell you, and those of you who I am connected to on Facebook, it's a very small relative group of people. If I do anything, I might share a picture of my kids or things. I don't want the world to have access to see all that stuff.
You're even more than me. You're more private than I am. Like you
100%
are fully surface. When you meet John,
it's
right.
True. And I know that. And I will tell you, it's for a couple of reasons. One, so I have made the decision early on. I don't like Facebook. So come at me, Zuckerberg. I never liked Facebook. I had to do it because of Humoriso, right? The business had to be connected to a person's page. And so I had to create a page. Okay. I only have a small group of people that are there. And I'm comfortable with that small group of people seeing some of those things. But honestly, most of what I post on there, if you really go and look at all my posts, are happy birthday to the people that I'm connected to. That's really the vast majority of anything that I post on Facebook. I have been burned in relationships. Burned. And so it makes you hesitant to want to connect to anybody new, because you're like, well, I'm now going to have a distrusting disposition as I start to connect with people. And I'm not saying that because I'm proud of it. I'm saying, I'm just naming it. It bothers me that I'm hesitant about the way in which I develop relationships. I appreciate wisdom, but I'm going to say I don't think all of it's wisdom. And I don't think that's true for a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people who have been burned by others, and so they have pulled back big time.
I think you're right. How do you think that affects your relationship, that you're not current, like you're not always posting about things on Facebook when you do make a connection? How soon does it take to let somebody in to establish real connection? Well, let me ask you another question, John. What do you think real connection looks like?
Yeah. So it's a great question, actually. So I am, for as distant as I can be, I'm super heartfelt. And so I'm emotional, shocking. And so
just yesterday, stupid commercial, and I'm like,
He's a crier. He
oh my
is
gosh, I am a crier.
crier.
Good night, nurse. Am I a crier?
You start crying when you think I'm gonna cry. When someone
I
else is gonna cry.
can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And it's just, and my kids, it's the best. Frankie especially just does the creep, like looks over while we're watching television. There he goes. There, up, there he goes. Yeah. I think for me, connection, their authenticity is very much tied to that. If I can be myself and you can know me and still like me,
That's right.
that's a real connection. There are people that through the years I have developed relationship with, and they've gotten to know me and they realize they didn't like me. And
Right.
that's okay. That's part of the risk of building relationship. Now, these are my words, by the way. It's not that I don't want anybody to think I have a laundry list of people who are like, by the way, I don't like you. That's not what I'm
don't like you. You just might not be, their cup of tea. We know
cup
we're
of tea.
not.
Yeah. Yes. And it's hard to, because if you've built connection that is cyclical, you and I, and I'd love to hear from other people too. You and I, for example, because we get to be involved with events, conference, speaking at different events. We'll see some people cyclically.
That's right.
And we're buddies for sure. I'm not like mad at anybody or whatever. Do I have deep connection with some of those folks? No, I don't.
But I do expect to see them in Vegas.
And I want to. It isn't, I want to. And I usually, my default, I will tell you, I wonder if this is true for you. My default is I still probably like people first until they give me a reason not to. Does that make sense?
I think I'm the opposite of that.
I think you are too.
Like, I don't have the space. I've been burned too. And the problem is, I think a lot of people feel like they know me. And when they 100%. Don't. And so and they start to yuck your yum, is what I say. They yuck your yum.
Ooh, wait a minute. That's a t-shirt. So say, what is that?
So, for example, like the other day, this was a true moment. Like I said, the past couple of weeks have been really hard for me. And a friend reached out, one of my in-person friends reached out locally, and the phone rang and I didn't answer. And I was like, I was feeling some kind of way and I can't talk right now. And they said, it's okay. I saw something that reminded me of you. And when I talked to them, they said, I saw something that, about watching the Hallmark Channel and I thought of you. And that's a big deal for me. People think this is a little thing, but when I tell people I watch the Hallmark Channel, it sparks all sorts of, you would think that I told them,
yes,
for the first time
people
that
are very strong about
like
that.
they like,
yes.
they go like, and I was like, no, like I like all things Hallmark, and I know that. And this year was the first year I fully came out of the closet and was like, I'm watching all the Hallmark movies and I'm sitting there with my blanket and I'm drinking a cup of tea. Yep. I'm doing all the things. And I finally was like, if you don't like me, then that's fine, but please don't yuck my yum, because it makes me feel good. And when people say, oh, I hate the Hallmark Channel, like,
well, and it's like, do I have to? Part of it is the bravery aspect. So many people are much more brave on social media than they would ever be to your face. And I'm going to say brave in air quotes, right? Sure. If they were sitting in front of you, they may not say, maybe they'll say they hate the Hallmark Channel, but think about the amount of things that people say online. I doubt very much that they would say some of the same things. It's certainly not the way that they say it as they post on whatever social media platform. We've lost, that is part of the relationship training that some people need, because they've done it for so long that they forget actually how to be gracious to someone. And it requires you to look at someone in the eye to be a bit more gracious. We haven't learned how to do it on social media, that's for sure. We need to figure out how to do it again with one another, because that's so needed. I've had people come up to me and hug and so happy to see me. And I want to be like, just so you know, like 3 weeks ago, do you remember what you wrote online under my, like, I'm having a hard time disconnecting that from this hug. Like, what is, I took that to be so like attack oriented, right? And now you're hugging me like, yeah.
I thought we were friends.
Right.
You were talking to me. You literally said black girls with gold hoops suck.
I
now
told you I didn't mean that.
Like why would you?
Yeah.
But I feel like what I noticed is like when I started sharing my real self and people like started making comments because people feel like they can say any kind of way, like without recognizing like these are parts that make me who I am. If you don't like that part, then I question whether you like me. And since I know that in advance, maybe we aren't going to connect. You do have to be.
I don't remember who said it. I think we've, well, I don't know if it was on the show. You and I have talked about this. I can't remember now. I saw Tom Holland quoting somebody else, and I can't remember who he was quoting. But he said, if you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, then you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
You know, where's the mic? Drop the mic.
If like, right? And that's not mine. I forget who he was quoting. I forget who he said he was quoting, but think about that for a second.
That's right.
People can be all kinds of cruel and brave relationally, quote unquote, online because they're your connection. But if you really have a problem with me, I would hope you would text me and say, hey, John, are you okay? I saw this. I don't think that's what I would expect from you, or I was really shocked that you would, share this or that or whatever. Then I might respond because you have my phone number. Like, we've got a relationship is the presupposition there. Some level of relationship where we can trade that next level of communication with one another. Just think about who you let into your life. I think it's okay in this art of building this relationship. I know there's only going to be people that I allow to go so deep with me. It may have nothing to do with the person that I'm talking about. It may have everything to do with I'm only one person. I can't have 50 deep friendships. I can't. It's just not possible. I don't have enough time for the depth of relationship that would be necessary to develop, to do that for 50 people. But I think there's some people still who beat themselves up because they want to go that deep with everybody that they connect with. You just can't. You've got to be able to say,
you do.
Right? You think you do. Yes.
But you can't fully do that. And the what is really interesting, and it's funny that Tony is here because we do have a friend group with lots of different women that we hang out with that are so completely different. And there's a couple things that I noticed is when I actually started listening and learning from other people, where I found myself with some relationships, I find myself wanting to jump in and feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. And then all of a sudden there was another group of people where I felt like I was learning and I didn't want to talk because I wanted to listen.
Yes.
And I felt like, and what their opinion didn't change who I was, but it made me think about all people differently, right? And what's funny is there's a member of our friend group who's a pastor. And I told someone I have a pastor. They're like, you have a friend who's a pastor? And I go, yes. And you know what's funny? We're actually very similar, except I use cuss words and use like some.
And the other person is,
and they use the Bible.
They're quoting Psalms, right? Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
I was like, same concept. So like, what's funny is when we go and we'll have a moment and I'll be like, fuck that mother. Literally, I told you somebody said, oh, I need to release some support. And I was like, fuck them. Da, da, da. And then someone else is like, Father God, we just want to, and I was like, don't chat. I'm literally raging on the background. If you want somebody to fight with you, I'm there.
Listen,
I'm ready.
You don't think I get to hear from people who are like, I'm sorry, you married a pastor's daughter? Did he know about you?
Right. And my dad was a pastor. I guess that's why I don't ever feel some kind of, I'm like, what are you? I don't even, but when you start feeling like you want to listen.
And we're not dismissing the Lord's work. Come on now. That's not what we're saying. If
you find yourself wanting to listen, that's probably a good sign that you can start building connection.
I
If
would
you find yourself wanting to
encourage that. That is such a great point. Like, I totally agree and would encourage that. You and I, and part of it, I think that people don't believe. And again, we have to pick on ourselves because we put ourselves out here. Here we are for this hour. Guess what we do? Talk.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like might be good listeners, but I'm telling
and we
you,
don't have guests.
well, I mean, really, who could keep up? But we really we really do listen. Like, I will sit and I'm in human resources for 30 plus years. Like, you don't think there's a listening aspect to human resources that has to happen? It's real. Like, I have to sit early on. I had to learn that I don't need to open my mouth and respond to everything that's shared with me. I really can listen and appreciate, even if I don't identify with everything that they've shared. I don't have that frame of reference. That's okay. I can still listen.
You can. I think one of my favorite moments that we've ever had, it was me, you, Katie, Robin in Vegas.
Sean, come on, buddy. Because Sean suffers the same. Right. He married a PK as well. So totally. Pat's pastor's kid, by the way. Yes. So yes. Yep. Got it.
But we were all sitting in Vegas and we were like, I don't feel like talking. And we were like, I don't feel like moving, but I don't feel like talking. And then we were all sitting there in silence like this. And then we'd be like, such and such is coming up. Nope. Nobody look. Everybody go to the right. We're all like, do you remember? We're like, oh my God, Jackye, that guy wants to talk to you. Don't look. Everybody go look. Everybody look over here. We're all like,
swivel chairs are the best invention. Okay, we're going to go this way now.
We're going to have to get a drink. The waitress is going to kick us out if we don't get a drink. I love Vegas.
Oh, I mean, there's no reason to kick us out. It was ridiculous.
I want to talk about this because it says like code switching. For people who don't know what code switching is, it's when, like, at least in the way I've always looked at it, it's when you're one way with one group and one way with another group. In particular, people say, oh, you act black with your black friends, but then you don't act like that when you're with your other friends. And the thing that's really interesting is, oh my goodness, I don't like that. I'm clutching my pearls. I don't think that. I've been struggling when people use that terminology, and you may be right, and it's just me. When I don't think it's code switching. When I'm in England, I ask to go to the toilet. I don't say I'm going to the bathroom. I'm not code switching. I just need to get the path of least resistance to whatever I'm trying to do. And I don't know if that's code switching or if I'm just trying to identify with the people that I'm with. If I speak my best Spanish when I go to Mexico. I don't do that when I'm in the United States. It's not code switching. It's trying to reduce friction.
But I also do think that there's wisdom at times there's wisdom in speaking the vernacular of the group that you're trying to connect with. I mean, I mean it.
But it's not a switch. You know what I mean? Like, if we have a shared experience, I say sick 'em bears when I see a Baylor shirt. That's not code switching. That means we have a shared experience, sometimes a shared trauma.
But that seems so authentic to me that you do that, right? Because it's born out of a history and that sort of stuff. But if you're a 65-year-old person, I'm going to pick on an age. If you're a 65-year-old person and you go and try to talk to, 17-year-olds and you're like talking about Riz and this and that, and you're like, then it feels like, okay, hold on.
Maybe yes.
Yeah. Right.
So there is a difference between girl.
God forbid.
Do you know somebody got mad because I called them girl? They came to me and they were like, I don't like it when you call me girl because blah 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 blah. And I was like, we can't be friends. I was like, I literally don't know how to turn that faucet off.
But it is also like some of it is respect oriented. So for instance, when your kids come home and they don't call you mom and dad anymore, they call you brah, then there are times where it's like, listen, here's the deal. We are going to have a line of respect in the house, right? I want you to communicate with me. I'm glad you feel like I'm your brah, I think, but I'm dad, but I'm dad. And I think it's okay. I think relationally, you do need to kind of quantify what's okay at times. So I have had people in my life who are still my friends, but I've had to say, because of certain things, this is as far as I'm going to be willing to go. I appreciate the fact that that may mean you'll pull back a little bit as well. And I think that probably serves us better, because I still wish the best for you, your family, your career, all the things, but we're probably not at a space where we can go closer anymore for whatever reasons. I'm not going to carry bitterness. I'm not going to be unhappy if I see you. I just want to lay out there, I'm not going to be trying to invest deeper from this point forward. And I just want you to know that. And I think that's okay to, again, give boundary to the relationship.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do think, though, part of it comes from being in HR. I feel like it is one of the work choices where you have to compartmentalize and put things in silos in HR. And I think that's difficulty. Like, I feel like I lost a friend this week because of that compartmentalization.
Yes.
There is a certain line where if we're truly friends, I'm expecting you to go past that. And if you can't, then we're just not friends. And that's okay.
Yes. And I have had, listen, this is, and now here's HR. I have been in circumstances where I have had to terminate someone's employment at a company that I was working for, that I was friendly with, and I had to terminate their employment and help them pack their desk up that afternoon, and then met them for a drink later, and wasn't the HR person. I was a friend. Right. And I listened, and I let them express, and I related to them as a friend. I know the message I had to deliver earlier, but I related to them as a friend. That is not for everyone. I recognize that, but I think there's a maturity that I hope we're trying to encourage in one another, that you to exactly what you're talking about. I'm still John. I had a job to do here, but I'm still John, right?
Let me tell you, like, there at this stage in my life, there is little litmus tests when that I know I kind of look at where it's where our friendship like starts or ends. Yeah. And this is the sign. Call me when you say, call me when you feel like, if you feel like you need to talk. We've just had our last conversation.
Yeah. I was going to say, finish that. I know what you're going to say.
If you think like,
meanwhile,
I will talk to my therapist about it.
Yeah.
But if you think I will ever come to you, because I feel like we need
for you, and this, but partly this is the value of building rapport and relationship intentionally. Right. We don't give Jackye the option of let me know if you want to talk. We just FaceTime.
Right.
And if she doesn't answer the FaceTime, we'll just continue to do it until she picks up, or to scream at us to tell us to stop. So
right.
Right? Like, because there's no if you need to talk.
It's a true story. Jackye, we're going to hop on a FaceTime. I don't want to hop on a FaceTime. Then they hop on a FaceTime. They're sitting there on the FaceTime. They're on it. And I'm like.
And who is it? It's Katie going, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? I don't know. I'm in Florida. Why would I know?
She'll come. If she wants to come, she'll be here. But I feel like it takes a lot of making sure that you're actually listening and knowing and showing that you haven't listened, and let people know. But it really takes saying, hey, I want to be closer to you. And saying those things.
You've got to choose sometimes those relationships. So I think that if you're just starting out, and I know this sounds funny, if you're coming into the professional world, you're out of college or you're out of high school, you've finished trade school, whatever it is, whatever pathway has gotten you to now, I'm starting to work and I need to build some connections because I'm planning for my future, all that good stuff. It's not It's not the same as high school. And what I mean is, high school was super easy because everyone had to go to that building. So you didn't really have to go seek people. You were forced to go to a place where a bunch of people were. And so sometimes relationships just happened naturally because of that. Often they just happened naturally because you were in a class, sat next to so and so and so and so, or by that you just developed relationships
Alan Fan
because
and
of
Ginger
proximity.
Gilchrist, right? My last name was
Yeah.
Forster. I sat between Alan Fan and Ginger Gilchrist.
Yep. That was it. And you went from class to class and had a similar seat. So
Weird.
you just, out of proximity, developed a relationship. That's not necessarily going to happen in all workplaces. I get that some people sit at a cubicle or a desk near somebody else. I get it. But if it's only one person and you realize, I don't really like this person, now what are you going to do? Now proximity is not working for you. You've got to be intentional to get up and go find these connections. Look, put yourself in places where these people will be. It is the same thing when it comes to dating. If we talk about relationships that way, it's really hard to meet someone if you never go out there to be where people are. Super hard. And if you think everybody online is telling you the truth, they're not. Their profiles aren't all true. I really, really, really find it hard to believe that everyone is super truthful and that they really are a licensed skydiver who also is a podiatrist. I don't know that I would go out with that person. I'm not sure.
I don't. And also watch Later Daters. Netflix, not a sponsor. Watch Later Daters on Netflix. It's
what is it called?
Later Daters.
What is it about?
Gen X people dating on dating apps.
Oh my gosh, I have to watch that.
You have to.
Why didn't you text me about this before?
Because I wasn't trying to watch it, and then I froze. I was like, and I watched the whole thing, and then I was like, kind of judged myself.
Is it a episodes or just one show?
It is episodes. It's episodic. You can do it in a weekend.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny.
But I mean, the part of the reason that this is important from an HR perspective, I know it's 10 o'clock, is this is why you don't make friends at work. And it's why your work people are not a family, because it is out of proximity.
Not a family.
It's out of proximity. And once they're gone in that situation, it's a choice.
Dion, good morning.
Listen, because and literally
I've only heard this. I'm not allowed to date. I have asked, but I'm not allowed.
Dion is everything. Like executive, like healthy, fun, energetic, gorgeous, all the things. I mean, should have a whole camera crew and a whole sitcom. This is like a whole, like.
I need to come there so we can hang out. I have not. I got to get there. I got to get
there.
Yeah,
I know. You do.
I got to get
there. We're already at 10 o'clock, John.
I know. And I keep saying this. I don't know what happened. It's probably the shine from my head is confused on the camera. What a quick hour. Thanks, everybody.
Did we even talk about the topic?
Yes.
Jamie, or like,
no, I'm not going. I'm not taking Jamie's judgment. We certainly talked about building a relationship and connection. I don't want to hear from him. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We didn't even talk about our mugs. Thanks, Aaron, for the mug. Thanks, Mom.
I wish I had a mug, Aaron, but you didn't give me one. Thanks. Clink, clink. All right.